It's been a long time since we've looked at a case from InWin. One of the things I love about InWin is the fact that they always have such unique out there designs. Sure, they've got their more mainstream regular rectangle boxes and stuff, but they're the same company that's brought us like the D frame, the S frame, the 928, the 925, that funky metal milled thing, the orb thing. So many crazy cases from them. This is the Dubili, which I guess it means for do believe. The ViewSonic X2 4K LED projector is the world's first projector designed for Xbox consoles. Featuring screen sizes up to 120 inches, native refresh rates up to 240 Hz, built-in Harman Kardon speakers, and low latency gaming modes, the X2 4K gaming projector from ViewSonic delivers a truly customizable experience for both gaming and HDR cinema. To see our full-length video covering features and user experiences, follow the links in the description below. There's a word search on the side of the box. You can pause it and find all the extra words and stuff that might be hiding in there. I also heard a rattle. Okay, so this is clearly the gray and orange one. We have 3 boxes from them. One of them looks like this one might be assembled or sort of assembled, and then each box gets smaller. So I don't know if it's like accessories or what. I did ask for the gold one. They have a gold one, which looks really, really good. But yeah, let's open this up. Let's talk about it, and I guess we'll see if some assembly might be required. All right, so it says full tower on the side of the box. They do have full tower, mid tower, and a ITX, I think. Could be wrong. That's what it looked like on their website, but okay. Oh yeah, it is fully assembled, so that's neat. Oh, here are the feet. So these are like, one of the things that makes the Dubili interesting is the fact that it feels weird saying that, Dubili, the Dubili. The Dubili, is that it's kind of modular. There's some things that you can sort of move around and customize on it. Let's see what we got here. Something was popping around inside the box. That means it's gonna be something inside the chassis. But, let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. Hopefully it's just like a SSD cage that popped off. That tends to happen in shipping every now and then. It does not appear to be glass. Some of these are really loose. It makes me wonder like how much vibrations happen in transit, because all these bolts, look at that, look how beautiful this is. All these screws are like loose. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, see it's the SSD brackets or cages right there. It's very tinted glass, but it's the SSD cages that are flopping around in there. So you do need like an Allen key to do anything with this. One of the things I want to do though is I want to switch around to maybe using the feet, although the white feet look kind of weird on there. So right now they currently have this piece right here set as the feet. Is it rubberized on the bottom? Yeah, there's rubber on the bottom. You can take that off, flip it around so it's almost like handles, and then these mount to the bottom as feet. And then I think you just replace the rubber in there, I think. Anyway, let me get my, this isn't gonna go big enough. Let me get an Allen key to just be able to access this. This might be some of the most like intense hardware I've ever seen holding like a side panel on. Ironically, they're all loose. This is why so many cases from InWin are so pricey. Even that power button is satisfying because they do very high-end, like the hardware and stuff is always top-notch. Like they've never, in my opinion, made a case that had a bad piece of hardware holding on the side glass. Like, especially, what comes to mind is like the InWin 925 and 928. Those aluminum barrels that were like custom lathed and stuff. All right. There is a latch that slides in, right? Yes. So there we go. Look at the amount of framework on the glass. There's even rubber on the bottom of the glass. Oh, I'm so glad that they sent this, because this was something they debuted at CES. It's not even something that like I knew was coming. Anyway, I guess it's partial aluminum, partial steel, because this is clearly magnetic and it's clearly sticking. So that's the dust filter on the top. The drive cages that were, holy crap. Who needs such industrial drive cages?
They sound like heavy.
They're heavy. They're like, actually, see this, they came out of right here. They like slipped out. That's what happened. I don't hold that against InWin. That is because of the loving, caring hand of our UPS. So as you can see, there's no center mid block off plate or anything for the power supply to compartmentalize it. It is power supply exposed, so this is where your cabling is gonna severely matter. And this is where like custom cables and stuff would certainly come in nice. All right, so because it's such an open interior, you have a lot of room in here. So you can do 12 by 13 inch up to EATX motherboards. Obviously, if it's a mini ITX, that'd be dumb though. It's got an 8 times PCI Express expansion slot. GPU length up to 430 millimeters. Now that's gonna be without a rad or anything in the front. If you add thick rads or push-pull fans in the front with the rad, you'll lose some of that length, obviously. CPU heat sinks up to 160 millimeters high. And then of course you've got all your expansion bays and stuff that we've already talked about in there. You can basically fit any motherboard all the way up to wherever this grommet is. Like as long as you can still make the cables into the grommet, you're good. But you can see you have 2 sets of grommets. That way, if you have an EATX, it'll just sit on top of those and then use those grommets. If you have a smaller motherboard, like a standard ATX, and you need to use these, and these are just chilling here for whatever else, I guess. So our drive cages actually slot into this section right here. They'll mount right here for like the 3.5 inch and 2.5 inch drives. They do give us 3 of their Jupiter AJ140 RGB case fans for the front. Probably not the highest quality fan. The blades feel really flimsy. I think you're probably gonna end up changing these fans out to something else, mostly because of the fact that you can fit 3 more at the bottom, well 2 more at the bottom technically. If you're not using too long of a power supply, you could fit probably a 240 down here if you were using a really short power supply. Otherwise, you could mount a 120 down here or a 140 pulling air into the bottom. There's a lot of room on the bottom. But you have room for 360 on the top, and they give you another one right here as an exhaust. But unless you're gonna go buy these fans so they all match, if you're like me, if you're looking at in the price range and this level of componentry, you're probably gonna care about your fans all being matching. So I would probably personally change out these fans for something that is maybe more aesthetically pleasing to this particular build. Like this, the fan looks all right, but to me, it doesn't really go with the aesthetics of the case, especially since the ARGB is like RGB gradient on the hub, which doesn't look very pretty in terms of like the sticker. With that said, let's go ahead and take the back off, which comes off exactly like the front, or the front glass. And I wanna see what the cable management options and stuff in the back look like, because let's face it, that's really the business end of the computer, because that's where you're gonna be spending a lot of your time when it comes to assembly. Pretty standard. You can see we even have some drive cage mounts right here. So you can take off this thumb screw, these slide out. We have provisions here to mount 2.5 inch and 3.5 inch drives, even all 3 of the holes for the 3.5 inch drive, which is kind of nice. You can also use this to mount like controller boxes and stuff if you need to, or if you're not gonna be mounting, if you're running like all NVMe drives, you can just take these out entirely, set them aside, and you have a cleaner look back here, even though you can't see in there. The cabling's a little bit everywhere, but that's because we've got our top buttons are on the top side, so that's what this is right here. We've got our power button, and then we've got 2 USB 3.0, combo jack and a USB-C. And then these are our wires for the front fans, but then as you can see, we also have what looks like fan splitters here, as well as RGB headers and such. So it's nice that they give us this power distribution here for both RGB and fan power. And even though we already have 4 fans occupied in there, we have room for 4 more. So that's kind of nice. That means the one that's included with this, and because it has an ARGB distribution built into it too, means you can plug that into your motherboard, and then you can have all your fans have a nice, simply centralized location to plug in all of its ARGB wires. Every single one of these is also a pigtail. So keep your LED counts in mind. You can only split off ARGB signals so many times for so many LEDs. And yes, if your fan has 10 LEDs in it, that's 10 LEDs used up of the total, I think 160, I think it is. Maybe it's 80. I think it's 80 actually per circuit. So you need to keep that in mind. If you occupy all these and then split them off a million times, you're probably gonna start having RGB wonkiness. But yeah, each of the fans here, oh, actually, you know what this is? I just realized, I'm stupid. I'm dumb, because each fan had its own daisy chain, which it didn't need because it's going into here. So if you change the fans out, those are all gonna come out anyway. This wire right here is the motherboard signal. So this goes to the motherboard so that it can tell all the fans what to do. This right here is, okay, so this is our PWM signal for the fan controller. This is our ARGB. And then this right here is our SATA power, so that we can run tons and tons of fans and not worry about how much power the header has, because the header is not giving any power. It's all coming through SATA and then PWM. All right, pretty straightforward. And then our front panel connectors are all routed right here. Not a whole lot to talk about. Not a whole lot of depth, but I think there's plenty of room right here to be able to get all your wires kind of smashed down and out of the way. And because it's a solid panel, you don't have to worry about like, you know, glass and any of this showing, especially since it's white. It feels like companies lately are sort of obsessed with Apple maybe. All of these screws are loose because of the transit. This definitely looks like a Power Mac G5 kind of a look. So, okay, this is the one that came pre-assembled. The accessories and stuff that are in here, like I said, these are drive cages, screws, actually comes with an Allen key right there inside the case. So you still needed one to get to it. I mean, it's not like they can mount it outside the case, but they give you one. It's just, well, they were loose enough. I could have just turned them off with my fingers. A couple extra brackets and such here. What I'm curious as to right now, I'm not gonna flip this over just yet, but I'm curious as to what is in the other boxes now, because I think one of them you have to assemble yourself. Okay, so this one's flat packed and it's even heavier and it even has a bigger word search on it. Anyway, I think this is the gold one. It's obviously not real gold. They call it champagne gold because it's more fancy. It's fancy.
Fancy.
It's fancy champagne gold. Oh yeah, this is the champagne gold. Geez, the packaging though, because you have to put it together, right? So, this is the inner panel. It'd be kind of fun putting this together. So this is more of like a canary yellow. The fan filters are almost like a brown. It's very Noctua-y right there. So yeah, they call it champagne gold. It's definitely more, like it's not gold. It almost like has a little bit of a coppery look to it, if you will. Yeah, so you can see this now. It's still brushed. It's not shiny, but that's the champagne gold. So it's a much lighter tone. Gold would definitely have a lot more yellow than this. This almost has a bit of a copper slash brassy feel to it. It's just solid, listen. It's like I unsheathed the sword. Well, I'm not gonna assemble this thing right now, mostly because I don't want to until I'm ready to use it. But I was curious as to what the gold one looked like. I do have one other box from them that I do not know what it is. It's funny how because the package is smaller and denser, it feels heavier than the other one, but it's not. It's the same case. It's the same sum of parts. All right, let me get the third box and see what the heck is in there, because I don't know. This box has absolutely no markings on it. I just know it's from InWin because it says so on the label. Power supplies and fans, it looks like. So Neptune fans, pro grade static pressure fans. It's pretty nice looking. I like that they have red corners and black corners, that way you can change them out. That's quite a few of them. I think they want me to use Neptune fans in the build. We didn't even talk about doing a build. I just said I thought it would be neat. Dude. Okay, we have a lot of fans. Almost 4 million of them too, by the way. If you haven't subscribed, you should do that because we are less than 9,000 away from hitting 4 million. Get back in there, jeez. And I want to do something fun like a giveaway or something and I haven't decided what yet. But I can't do it if we don't get there, so. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I know this was probably short and really discombobulated, but this thing is sick. I have no idea what it costs, honestly. I'll put the link down below. You guys can go and check it out. I guess the orange bits too, you could even paint these. Like you could take those pieces out and paint them a different accent color if you wanted to, but this is the kind of case that would look good in an office, game room, whatever. It's classy, like it's a piece of furniture like on its own. So I love the way that this looks. I cannot wait to build in it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.